This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I'm deeply committed to an open relationship with snowboard gear. And this is the Vans Infuse. I've ridden this over the years, and it hasn't changed too much, but I felt like we needed to do an updated review. To give you a short summary, this is a very well built, very adjustable, very durable boot that even has reinforcements in the tongue to preserve the flex longevity over a 100-day-a-year season. It's very comfortable. It has a very unique sole that has excellent board feel in the front, minimal shock absorption there too, but then more shock absorption in the back of the heel. So if you want to duplicate that skate feel that you get with Vans shoes, you can get it in their snowboard boots on the mountain. And I think that's very cool. Even though I'm more of a shock absorption guy, I can really appreciate that. And I just think this works with a wide variety of foot widths, instep types, and just feet in general, and has a very cool heel hold feature with a boa around the ankle and traditional lace up top. So you get the best of both worlds when it comes to adjustability and heel hold, and it's really cool. Now, when it comes to sizing, this fit me really well. I'm a 9, true 9 on the Brannick scale, and just about an E on my left foot and an E on my right. And I have ankles with a lot of scar tissue in there, so they're pretty big in comparison to most people. So I don't really need a lot of wrap around the heel, but these fit me great, but could also tighten up really well too. So I think overall the fit is really good. You have heat moldable liners on top of that to make that work. So very good there in terms of sizing, at least for me. Now, when it comes to flex, this is medium stiff. You add these in here and it gets a little stiffer. And I just like this flex. It's responsive, but not overpowering. It's not up there with the most responsive boots out there. And I like that. It's definitely a good bump up over the Bald Face and the Burton Kendo. These guys just didn't feel like they were as responsive, especially in a same-day test where I took all three of these out, including the 32 TM3 XD. And I felt like of all the boots, this was definitely the most responsive, but it's still just the kind of responsive I like. It's more on the medium fast side, and it matches up really well with the flex. But when it comes to flex retention and construction and just the way this boot is built, yes, it doesn't have the articulating cuff that you see right here with the Burton Kendo, or like you see with the 32 TM3 XD. That was just an amazingly well-built boot, and it surprised me to see that with 32. It used to be the joke, 32 boots last 32 days before they break, but this was not the case at all. And this is right up there with 32, minus the articulation in the cuff, but there is a little nubbin, just a touch there of articulation that works pretty well for flex retention. But you get so many other things, like just a really good, back here. It's made to last a long time. You compare that to the Burton Kendo, it's just a little extra bit of leather, faux leather there. So for some reason, this boot though held really well for over 90 days and still almost had the original flex in the tongue, but the rest of the boot was falling apart. And this construction is just so much more durable than my Kendo that I think it'll last that 100 days without getting little holes in it and having serious wear points throughout the boot. It's going to do a really good job. You can even see over the toe, it's just solid plastic. It doesn't give it all when You put the strap on and flex over. You've just got an amazing shell. Then you've got these reinforcement points you can put down into the tongue that work with the entire tongue of the boot. And they're not super stiff, but they're definitely going to keep the flex a lot longer. So you can put them in right away, or do what I would do is start with these as is, and as they break in a little bit and the tongue wears down just a touch, you put these in for the rest of the boot's life. Now when it comes to the liner, it's well built. It has a little bit of stuff going on the outside, some kind of rubbery stuff to help preserve the flex and help with heel hold here, but not too much. And I like that for people like me with bigger ankles. But then you can see there are some J-bars in there that help with heel hold too. But the real thing here is the boa. This boa does a great job at wrapping around your ankle and really pulling it in and giving you excellent heel hold. So if you're into that, this will work. I'm not really into that, but I even enjoy using this boa, and I found that it just keeps my foot exactly where I want it in the boot. When it comes to the insole, I was really surprised. Normally, I am not into the insole that comes with the boot. I put in like my Footprint Insole Technology Game Changers. Out of all the insoles I've tested over the years, those are my favorites. But for some reason, these insoles feel the best in the Vans boot. They're really well designed. They've got this ultra cush, ultra shock absorption technology going on in the heel. And then it really comes down to a thinner part over the front part of the foot to help with that feel underfoot like I talked about. And if you take these out though, and even put in my thick Game Changers, there's more room in the boot. So if you have a high instep, this could really work well for you if you change out the insole. But if you're like me and you didn't really need that and you just want a good feel in there, a little extra shock absorption, this could work for you. When it comes to adjustability, I already touched on the boa because of the heel hold, but I love that you have two lacing points. Not super keen on this zipper, but it is nice to have that shield so you don't get wet. If you're doing some hiking all day, or if you're in really wet situations, it won't get down and through. But you can see you have lacing here. You can tie a little special knot right here over the boa area and kind of separate the upper and lower if you want. Leave the boa loose, but you can then double wrap and overlap over that ankle and get that great heel hold. Or you can kind of keep it mellow and loose and do a separate upper and lower. And then you have this strap. So I think the adjustability is excellent and I just really love it. I also like that you can take the strap off, you can undo the strap and loosen it when you're hiking and then redo it when you're not. Pretty cool. On and off, it's not that easy. You've got this, lacing, a boa. Boas are slow, by the way, on. They're so easy off, but going like this takes a while, and I've never felt boas were that fast on. Okay, there we are. So you're just cranking all day. I'd rather use repetitive motion for something else, but that's another story for another time. When it comes to shock absorption, there is pretty good shock absorption in the heel. And then as you transition down to the front of the foot, there's almost none, but you have amazing board feel. And that's what Vans going for here. They're trying to duplicate that same feeling you get out of a Vans skate shoe on a snowboard. So if you like that feel, if you surf or you skate and you like being as close to the board as possible, you're going to love these boots. and you still have some shock absorption in the heels for jumps and off landings and uneven snow days. You're going to feel a lot up here, but you're not going to feel as much back here. So I think that's great. For me, this time around, with a bruised foot, not that much fun. But I'm not going to knock the boot for that, because that's just something personal happening with me. But if you want a lot of shock absorption throughout the boot and you don't care as much about board feel, this might not be for you. Now, when it comes to traction, Vans just does it right. Look at this sole. It's just got a lot of tread. No tire company stamping their label of approval on this, but look at this tread depth, and it is just amazing. I love this traction. Never once even came close to doing those awkward disco splits in a lift line when your skating foot slips and you just end up sending your legs both ways. And it's never Soul Train disco. It's just always awkward, drunk, wedding dance disco, and it sucks. So great traction here, great for hiking. Vans just knows what they're doing. When it comes to footprint, they did an amazing job at reducing the footprint, and I felt that these were on par with the Burton Kendos. I think it really helps when it comes to carving, riding in steep terrain. Fitting a board that might be a touch narrower than you'd like, that really helps. And I felt that these were pretty warm too for me personally, but it's really different person to person when it comes to warmth. So overall, I love the little flex retention thing. I love the boa in here that wraps around the ankle. I love the adjustability. I personally am not into the board feel and the lack of shock absorption in the front, but I know so many people who are and love it. It's not something that's really a fault. It's just more about personal preference. And if that's what you're into, this is your boot. It's amazing. I love the response. I love the comfort. I love the way it works with a wide variety of foot types, board types, and binding types. And it's a boot that's just so well built. I'm always recommending this, and that's just not going to change with the 2022. So there you go. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the eHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.